So assuming you wanted to, could you train your entire back on one machine? And the answer is actually yes. Now, a lot of commercial gyms actually have this machine. This is the Nautilus Row here, but there are a lot of other ones that are very similar from different brands, and I think you guys could use any of them to train your entire back on one machine. So what would that actually look like? Well, there are a few different things we have to think about. So the main goal of the back, especially with any good back training, is to really be specific about which regions you're actually biasing and putting emphasis on. So it's not like the chest where it's just like, oh yeah, just press, it's the chest. A little bit more to go on here. So we have to think about a few different parts of the back and kind of what their functions are. Now, one of the main staple movements we're gonna have to do is some kind of wide grip chest supported row. The reason why it's gonna be very important is because it's gonna hit our rear delts, which are responsible for shoulder abduction, horizontal shoulder abduction. So this movement, pulling the shoulder away from the body, this is going to be all rear delts. You actually can see my rear delt here being responsible for it. So we're gonna have to do some movement that has some level of rear delt involvement there. And then the traps are responsible for actually retracting the scapula. So this kind of pullback motion, that is the traps at work. What is an exercise that does that really well? Well, a wide grip trap row would be the way to do it. Chest support can allow you to be more stable, more motor unit recruitment, more mechanical tension to the given fibers. So just a great idea. Don't do this with a barbell. Just don't. It's stupid. Complete waste of time, in my opinion, compared to this, if you have one of these available. So just doing that, coming here, and just doing some kind of wide grip row is going to be just a staple in pretty much any training. And obviously, you know, use your wrist straps, guys. It's pretty important. When I'm showing you my example, I didn't have them on, but use your wrist straps. It's pretty important. And that's kind of going to be your staple. So for your first exercise, I would probably do that, as a lot of people do have weak traps, weak upper back. Rear delts are somewhat of a weak point on some people. It depends, obviously, on the person, but traps are very, very commonly neglected. So that is going to be pretty important, at least in my opinion. Then the second movement you're going to want to think about is some kind of Kelo shrug. Some people, again, lack trap development, and this is a nice little extra option for people that really want to give their traps a lot of love. So Kelo shrug, similarly to the wide grip row, the Kelo shrug, we're actually going to grab neutral here on this machine, just so that we can actually get a little bit more range of motion. We're going to grab neutral, and our main goal is not to do anything at the elbow. Don't do anything at the elbow. All we're doing is just retracting the scapula, just pulling our shoulder blades together. It's a very, very simple one, but it's actually a little tricky for some people to actually execute properly. So now that we have our two movements down, we have the wide grip row, we have the Kelo shrug. What's the next movement? Well, the next one is gonna be your third option on this machine, which is a neutral grip lat row. Some people do this one side at a time, which you can, but your main goal is to minimize elbow bend as much as possible. So the thing I don't love about the way I have this set up right now is that it's almost turning into a bit of a curl at the end. Take a look at the end of the movement, it's turning into a little bit of a curl. So how can I fix that? Well, a good option would be to raise the seat, or maybe to adjust this chest pad. And I'm messing with it as best I feel like I can. I would say this is a little bit high, but regardless, you want to try to get it set up as best possible so that you're actually able to just row for the lats and you're not getting a whole lot of elbow bend, because that's not what the lats are doing. All you're doing is just pulling the arm into the side of your body here, just like this, just rowing straight. And again, this is pretty good. This is not bad. This is pretty good. I'm gonna try to grab as low as I can. The lats don't have a whole large range of motion here. So grab here, tie in nice and tight, and pull. And that's pretty much your lats. So now, the only thing that's not really being hit amazingly are your rear delts. You know, you can do some kind of rear delt fly as an option. The other thing that's not being hit amazingly is your lower division of the lats, the iliac division, that normally comes from pulls. So, but again, say you were on this machine and you just needed, for whatever reason, to only use one machine, well, this would be your option. So for lats, all you do is pull into the side. I'm actually gonna give you guys a working set here because I have to do one. So I'm gonna try to get, I believe, 7 reps. So I think last time I got about 6, if I remember correctly. So let's see how we're doing. This machine could be calibrated slightly differently, so I'm not gonna sweat it too much, but the goal is to get some really, really heavy stimulative reps here. So here we go. Tie in nice and tight, tie in nice and tight, and here we go. Okay, here we go. All right, you ready? Ready? Here we go. And we're gonna pull. You ready? Okay. All right, about 5. I'd say my form day was a little bit better on some, got a little bit more sort of scapular retraction than I would have liked. So next time I'd probably calibrate this 20 pounds less maybe. So you overshoot your weight sometimes, but that's just a very good ballpark for training the entire back on one machine, at least somewhat adequately.